Hey guys, I'm back. So this is going to be day 2 of my Alpha 16.4 video series. So day 1, the video basically just had me spawning in a desert. Ran around, looted some stuff, did my usual day 1 stuff, some good information in there if you're brand new to the game. And then basically found a town and kind of set up shop here in the first house on the corner of town. And I didn't record the night because the night's kind of boring. It's just inventory management and doing things. But one thing I did save here is right before daylight, I'm going to assign some skill points. So I got to level 3, plus I got a couple of points for completing the starting quests. And so I've got 17 points available. That's this skills menu right here. Definitely going to buy weapons and toolsmithing right off the bat. The other things, now those two are definite. I don't think anybody's going to argue that those shouldn't be your first place to put points. After that, definitely a lot of opinions out there, and I think that none of them are necessarily wrong. I think I can make a strong case for just about anything in this list. Personal preference, though, it's daylight. That's the daylight noise. Comes at 4 a.m. under default settings. I like Sexual Tyrannosaurus. It's going to get you more stamina faster. It's going to be super helpful when we're chopping wood, breaking rocks, running. Just kind of makes everything that uses stamina go a little faster because you have a little more stamina, or you have better stamina regeneration. So I'm going to buy one of those, and as soon as I get my forge up and running, I'm going to buy Miner 69er. Don't necessarily need it yet because I'm not really using any mining tools. The stone axe is just a construction tool. Likewise, I really don't want to do bad mechanic because once I get the forge up, I'm not going to use a lot of construction tools. Although the stone axe is going to kind of stay in my toolbar for quite a few days here. So I might spend the last of my points on the survivor. That means I have to eat less often in the beginning of the game. Finding food is kind of a pain. So I'm going to go ahead and buy that. And armor crafting, I can make a strong case for armor crafting. But the thing is, armor eventually you're going to find a lot of it in looting. So I think what I'm actually going to do instead is I'm going to just leave those last 3 points unassigned in case I want to put them into something, and just start my day out here. So first things first, I broke up those bodies of the zombies that were in the other room and got myself a bone. And I'm going to make a bone shiv. And I'm going to use that bone shiv. Actually, that might be my primary weapon for melee combat. I may keep using the club. Has a good chance to stun, which the bone shiv doesn't have. I find the bone shiv does a little more damage and seems to be a little easier for me to use, but the stun on the club is pretty handy. So I scrapped all of my tools and my bow and arrow, and I'm making new ones because they're level 50 now. So, a wooden bow. I did make some more arrows while the video was off. Sorted everything out. Ate a little bit of food. Drank some goldenrod tea. Nothing too exciting there. And I unloaded most of my inventory into this secure storage box right here. No need for me to carry around pretty much anything that I wouldn't need while I was out looting. I'm going to keep the glass jars on me because I'm A, going to pick up more glass jars while I'm out there for sure, and B, if I find a source of water, I'm going to fill those up. Okay, so sun's up. I'm already wasted an hour of daylight just standing here. Close my hatch so I don't find any some prizes. The odds of a zombie actually getting up into my attic there is pretty low anyway, but so these curtains, you can break those apart and get some cloth. I also haven't looted everything down here, so right off the bat I can wear that, and I can take that. That gives me +5 insulation. I'm not sure if where I'm at is going to be hot or cold, so I'm just going to put it in my inventory for the moment. Cloth is used for bandages and making cloth armor and repairing clothing, so it's pretty useful. You can break up the couches. The cloth couches obviously give you cloth and wood. And one of the things that I'm going to be really looking for today is either animals to get meat and animal hide, which I can then use to make a bellows for the forge, or alternatively, I thought that was a landmine for a moment, leather couches. So quite a few of the commercial buildings in particular will have leather couches in them, and the leather couches will give me all the leather that I need to make those bellows. And my priority today is I want to get a forge up and running. I want to loot pretty much everything. There's not a lot of things I don't want to loot, but I'm really going to be prioritizing books. If I can, I want to find a bookstore or somewhere that has a lot of books and try to get some skill books. So the first thing I'm going to do is run around. I'm just going to be looting kind of randomly here. I wish I could say that there was a method to my madness, but there's really not. I kind of just grab whatever I feel like. In a big city like this, there's so much loot. I'm not overly worried about hitting up every little thing. I want to get a feel for what I have in the city. So this POI right here, spoiler alert, if you don't want to be spoiled, you may want to mute the video for a couple of minutes, or for a minute. But this POI right here is going to have an underground bunker in it. Right behind where that zombie is standing, there is a couple of plates on the ground, and if you get underneath those plates, you'll find a staircase that goes down to an underground bunker. That would have been a fantastic place to set up shop, and I may end up moving my base there at some point. But it takes a long time. It's got a steel door on the bunker, and it takes a long time to get through that steel door with a stone axe. So even if I had found it the first day, I definitely wouldn't have tried to set up shop there. Oh, got a deer. Luckily they're not too smart and they don't notice the arrows that miss them. Hopefully this deer gets stuck in this corner. Yeah! So in every other alpha of the game, and notice I'm using the bone shiv, by the way, you get a little more meat that way, and a little more of everything actually. In every other alpha of the game, carrying raw meat on you made you smell, and you'd attract zombies from quite a little distance away. But developers said that's not working in this alpha, and they're just not going to bother fixing it until the next alpha. And that's okay by me. Water towers usually have some source of water near them, either a puddle on the ground or something like that. Or if they don't, you can always break into the water tower itself, and it will actually have water in it. Now, this puddle here just works fine for me. Looks like I'm attracting a little attention. I could just outrun these zombies and run away. I don't really need to fight them, but killing zombies is how you level up. And these are both really easy zombies to kill. I'm already carrying goldenrod, so I may as well grab some more. So the academy over here, that's a school, and as you might guess, schools generally have a lot of books. So that's probably somewhere I'm going to return to here in the near future. Doesn't have nearly as many books as an actual bookstore. There's a wolf. Those are real easy to miss, and they are real dangerous at this point in the game. And what I'd like to do is probably not tangle with him. Now this rich people house over here, that's going to have leather couches in it, which is another one of the things that I was looking for. So the wolf's going to fight that zombie. I don't think the zombie even fights back. I think the wolf just kills him. Yeah, or the wolf gets distracted. Fire station. I'm not 100% sure about what's in the fire station. I don't think I've actually looted a fire station in this alpha. I'm going over here to this road because I'm trying to avoid that wolf. Another deer over there. There's two deer. Are you kidding me? Deer are notoriously difficult to hit. This guy moves a little quicker than I can crouch walk. Need any of that. I think the deer might be taunting me. Standing together over there. This isn't even the one I hit. So I'm convinced now that these deer are in fact taunting me. Well, that one's definitely taunting me. This is why I usually prefer just to hunt for leather couches rather than bothering with the deer. But the deer give me meat, and the meat is useful too, so. before. And that deer is really gonna make things hard. So when they keep running like this, it usually means that they're bleeding. And unfortunately, that means that they might run away, get out of your sight, and then fall over dead. So I try to follow them and finish them off if I can. Let's see, we're at 18 hide, we need 20 to make a fellow. Take a quick look around me here. Couple of houses. Hey, there's one of those brick buildings I said in the first video are super common and would have made a great base. You can pretty much always find one somewhere in town. I'm getting hungry, and I'm out of stone. Get some more stone real quick. I'm gonna go see if I can find that pig or that other deer that got away from me. So as you can see, day 2, even though I've made it to town, I'm not actually spending a lot of time in town. I could very easily have been breaking into places looking for the leather couches instead. It just so happened that these deer walked out in front of me and kind of got me sidetracked. Up in front of me, the biome that you're looking at is Burned Forest, and that biome's got a lot of good things in it. First of all, a lot of trees, which is useful. And it also has a chance to have, as near as I can tell, just about any kind of minerals on the surface. So occasionally you'll see surface minerals like this right here. This one looks like coal. Double check that. Yep, coal. Which is grassland has coal, forest has lead. You can probably find a list on the forums, but the burnt forest, at least in my experience, seems to have some of everything. It mostly has potassium nitrate, but I've found just about everything else there, and that's super useful if I'm out looking for minerals. Mining underground, unfortunately, is no longer a real efficient method of getting minerals. Instead, you're better off finding the surface deposits or following a vein of gravel from the surface. I lost track of that pig. He was out here somewhere. If I get close, I'd be able to hear him grunting. I think there he is. This vulture. If I get a chance to swat that vulture down, I'm gonna. I think the thing that I thought was a... Whoa, vulture, come on now. One of the fantastic things about this game is its ability to still scare me after 1,000 hours. So the vulture doesn't give any leather, which is why I was kind of ignoring it if I could. But it does give feathers. And I'm starting to overheat, which could be an issue. I'm already wearing the hat. So the other next best solution to overheating is you can make red tea using the red flowers. That's a bit of a process. I'd have to run back to the campfire to get that accomplished. I could make yucca juice. I left all my yucca at my base, and there's no yucca here. Although I could actually, I guess I haven't tested this in this alpha, but it used to be the cactuses, yeah, give you yucca fruit. So I could break down some yucca fruit, and if I have an empty jar, I can make yucca juice. So that's another possibility. Or the third possibility is to get out of this biome or to go indoors. And that's probably what I'm going to do. So I haven't seen my pig. And I haven't seen that deer. I think this cabin may be one of the ones that... Oh, it does have zombies in it. So there are some buildings that don't have zombies in them. They're really decrepit houses. You can see my temperature's already going down just from being inside this house. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of room to pick up a lot of the loot. So nails are a nice find because you can make storage boxes with them, which I like to use storage boxes pretty early on in my base designs, but not 100% a necessity. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this rotting flesh, and I'm going to break down those nails. Oops. Use them for scrap metal. I'll take those jars. I'm going to eat that can of chili. See, I knew I'd get lucky. Give me a couple hours worth of... I always check ovens. They have a chance to have cooking grates in them. And they also, I think, have a chance to have wrenches in them. And finding a wrench is another one of my short-term goals. Plenty of things that you can't accomplish in the game until you have a wrench. And I'm going to pick up these chairs and scrap them for wood. It's 18 wood without having to use any tools. We've got quite a little bit of stuff going on around this town here. So, daycare center. So I don't want animal hide boots because they're going to make me warmer. And the shotgun barrel is nearly worthless at level 5. I probably should have scrapped it, actually, is what I should have done. A level 5 shotgun barrel does... You'd have to be point blank to really do any damage to a zombie. It's not too helpful. Okay, so this is a church, not a daycare center. I think. That's supposed to be a church? I don't know. That's hard to tell what that is supposed to be. But I was hoping it was the daycare center, because there's a Poopy Pants daycare center in the game. And it has a ton of books in it. Apparently it was a good daycare center, and they like to read to the kids. I don't know if that's my deer from earlier. If it is, it should just... Come on, buddy. If you run over the cactuses, they hurt you, so I'm trying not to hit any cactuses as I run. There's a pig over here somewhere I just walked by. I'm keeping my eye on the prize. And there, see, I didn't hit him. He died before I actually fired the arrow, and that was that bleeding out that I was talking about. So that's why it was so important for me to keep following him and not turn around to look for that deer, or that pig. Because if he'd fallen here when I wasn't watching, I would never find this body. Looks like we might have some buildings over there, like another town. Yeah, there's another town over there, to the northwest. So you can play the game in a lot of different ways. I personally tend towards, well, first off, I rarely play past the first couple of weeks. Once I've got most of the books and I've got a decent gun and I've got a mini bike, I've played enough of the game to feel like I've kind of got it won at that point. There's a pig. I'm going to go ahead and fight with him just to show you guys how. And actually what's going to work out great is if he stands there and I can get on this rock and get a clear shot at his head. Now if he'd come straight at me, I would have hit him with another arrow right away. But my personal preference is kind of as a looting and exploring. I've done the base building, and it's absolutely fantastic and fun. And I definitely think that the people that stick with the game in the long term are mostly going to be people who enjoy the base building. But for me, there's nothing like the thrill of starting out a new world and trying to find out what's out there, to see what I've got for towns, raiding a skyscraper. The skyscrapers are probably one of the best additions to this game since I started playing back in Alpha 12. I'm just going to repair it because the difference isn't too much between a 48 and a 50. They don't give any bonuses anymore for breaking the rocks or cutting down the entire tree, by the way, so that's just an old habit that you really don't need to go all the way until the rock breaks or until the tree drops. There's no disadvantage to it either, though, so... So this one is definitely a church. Alright, so let me get back on track here. We've got enough animal hide now to make the leather to make a bellows. So I'm going to go ahead and craft 20 of those into leather for making the bellows, and we're actually going to need more stone. Apparently I've lost my stone that I was working on earlier. Guess it was a ways back there. We're going to need some stone because we're going to need 50 stone just to make the forge. And then we're going to need some clay, and I'm going to show you guys how to find clay. Nice and easy. And during my looting earlier, I think I picked up 2 pipes, but if you need a pipe, you can break toilets and get a pipe for each toilet you break. Okay. Oh, the leather poncho. I forgot about the leather poncho. So if I'd continued to overheat out here, I could have made a leather poncho. It would have cooled me off significantly. When you're wearing a leather poncho, it's really hard to overheat. I'm going to go ahead and make that. You know what? I'm going to cancel that, and I'm actually going to make my stone shovel first. I'm just going to eat this to get rid of it. Now, I'm going to make those bellows. While they're going, I'm going to find some clay. So the way to find clay is you're looking for this dark brown spot on the map, which I am standing on. This is clay right here. Those dark brown spots are spots full of clay. A lot of the clay spots have a lot of flowers on them. See the goldenrod right up in front of me here. And we're going to need 50 clay just to make the forge. And then we're also going to need clay for everything we make in the forge. So I want to make extra. Get plenty of extra clay. And we also use clay. Okay. So small stone, clay, bellows, short iron pipe. Get that started. It takes a little while to make. We're also going to use clay to make flagstone blocks, and flagstone blocks are the first blocks that I really recommend building with. It's fine. Wood frames are useful because you can put them down, like jump over a fence or jump in a window or block a doorway real quick and then be able to pick them back up again. But the wooden blocks just aren't very tough, and for not very much more effort, you can make flagstone blocks out of clay and rocks. And those are going to be a lot sturdier, and you can also upgrade those all the way into concrete and reinforced concrete, basically the full upgrade path. So they are definitely the way I would suggest starting out building. Only got 33 stone left after all of this. Got 109 clay. Could actually use a little more clay. Like about 150 to 200 clay usually. Now my thing is I'm never gonna... That's not clay. That's not giving me clay. I gotta go back the other direction. I'm never gonna stop what I'm doing during the day to work on the forge. I always wanna save things that I can do at night, because it's hard to fill the nights the first couple of weeks. That's a better amount of clay. I really don't need that dirt. Deer's trying to get me to chase it. I'm not going to fall for it this time, deer. I got plenty of meat and plenty of hide. I don't need anything right now except rocks. I need rocks. And the other big thing that I'm going to get from this rock is I'm getting raw iron. And raw iron is going to be my #1 source for iron to smelt in the forge. So that tonight, when I lay down the forge and start smelting, hopefully I'll have enough raw iron to make... I'll definitely have enough raw iron to make a pickaxe. That's going to be my first tool. And then, if I'm lucky, I'll have enough raw iron to make a couple of other things. I kind of alternate. Sometimes I make a fire axe next. Although here in the early stages of the game, I find that for destroying wood or breaking down trees, the stone axe works as well, or maybe even better than the fire axe until you get into the higher levels of the mining tools. And the reason for that is that the stone axe really doesn't use up much stamina, so you can just keep hitting. It does less damage per hit, but you can keep hitting for a lot longer. Sometimes instead of making the fire axe, I'll make a barbed club. And that's probably what I'll do this time around too, because once you get to the barbed club, about level 100 barbed club, it actually turns out to be pretty darn useful. You can actually do some damage with it, and you can start to take some melee kills that way. So, on my map, when I completed the quest, there's my house. there's where I started at. Here's my town. We know there's another town to the west, over there somewhere. And over here, which it looks like I'm going to have to cross the burnt forest, which is okay, because the burnt forest isn't terribly scary, is the trader. And so I'll probably make a trek out to the trader fairly soon, either tomorrow or maybe the next day, just to complete that quest. Funeral home. And we'll see what the trader has. I don't have enough tokens to really buy anything from the trader. But it's nice to uncover the map around the trader, see if he's got anything good around him, and then just see what he's got. Mainly I just want to get the point from the quest, for completing the quest. Okay, so I think I'm going to use the rest of this day to take a quick look around town. Guys, noticed earlier I said that the best way to get minerals is to follow the gravel veins. This is a gravel vein right here. If I dig on it, I'm getting stone. I'm also dropping crushed sand on the ground because I don't have room in my inventory. And then when I destroy it, I get iron. So that tells me that this gravel vein, if I follow it, is going to lead me to an iron deposit. That might be useful. But my inventory is a little on the full side right now, so I'm not going to worry. I've got a couple empty jars in my inventory, but I'm not going to actually fill them with water. Because I want to keep a few in case I want to make some yucca juice. Looks like we're going to be on the hot side, so I'm going to go ahead and scrap that shirt. That shirt's more for cold weather. Of course, now I'm heading towards the snow biome, and I maybe regret that. So I'm completely out of food right now. You don't instantly die when that hits 0. You do get quite a little bit of leeway, actually. The main thing that it does is it starts to lower your wellness. So I don't necessarily want to stay that way. But I do want to just go kind of the roundabout way back up to my house. Looks like I'm getting really lucky. This destroyed area here, this could have easily been wasteland, which would be full of dogs and bad things and not a great place to come and loot. Instead, it's just snow, which may have some annoying snow zombies in it, but for the most part, it's going to be, there's one of those annoying snow zombies. So those guys move really quickly, which I don't think their animation portrays that they're moving as fast as they are. There's a strip club. Anytime I get close to a skyscraper, I start to get a little bit of stuttering, even with the settings turned down. If I go to loot the skyscraper, though, I don't seem to have many issues once I'm inside, so it might be just a thing about looking at it from the outside. So here's one of those daycares that I mentioned, Poopy Pants Daycare. It's the next best thing to a bookstore. I know I'm out of food, and I should be heading home to get some food. But boy, if I could just... loot a couple of bookshelves. I really hate the crawlers. Seems to me that they have a messed up head hitbox, because no matter how many arrows I put into their head, they never seem to notice. I must be hitting something here. Probably that desk. Angry zombie outside. A bit of a tough one, hard to see the head on that one. Some bathrooms over in the corner there that they might very well have a zombie in them, but oh. Well, I'm happy to have found the crossbow schematic. I wish I hadn't found two right off the bat. A little painting book. Multi-bread's actually pretty useful for making antibiotics, but I've got that honey back at the base, so I'm not in any desperate need. Likewise, I would normally be looting those bathrooms because toilets have a pretty decent chance of having 9mm pistols in them. There's almost certainly a zombie behind this counter. I think those are... I think those are zombies over there, but I can't tell if my graphics turned down. Everything is too dark. Alright, well this is pretty unfortunate. Because he's gonna suck up a lot of arrows to kill if I have to kill him. And he managed to wander into my building. So I'm gonna try to loot. Really seems... Didn't that seem like he was coming at me no matter what I did there? Now he seems confused again. Okay, apparently he's real confused. I'd like him to walk away from my doorway. There we go. The zombie AI has got some major problems. Just sounds like the developers are kind of working on. They posted some job postings for people to work on the zombie AI, so hopefully that gets better with future versions. In this case, I'm just happy I didn't have to waste 10 arrows trying to take that guy down. Alright, so I've been hungry now for quite a little while. I'm actually going to go ahead and head back to the base. I won't have a lot of daylight left by the time I get there anyway. This place is a construction site. It is one of those new skyscrapers that were added in Alpha 16. Kind of like a mini dungeon. You don't want to tackle that until you've got some pretty decent gear, because it's absolutely crawling with zombies, and a lot of them are going to fall down on your head. So I don't want to run my stamina completely out to where I can't run away if I need to. Unfortunately, I'd really like to get away from these guys fast enough so they're not beating on my house. I think we'll be just fine here. Alright, so pretty good haul for the second day. I've got a forge. Once I place this forge, I'm committing myself to this base for probably the first week, as long as there's stuff to loot around here. It's not terribly hard to make another forge, though, so don't ever feel like you have to stay somewhere just because you got your campfire and your forge set up. It's a lot harder, though, to move your stuff from this box until you have a mini bike with a basket on it. So what we need right now is we need all these eggs. We're going to make some bacon and eggs. And we're going to get our forge going. So we're going to put in all our iron, our clay, and I'm going to run that for about 5 minutes. Now the fire going and the forge going, probably going to attract some zombies. It builds up some heat over time. I'm going to add the rest of my iron here. Pretty decent amount of iron. And there you see my wellness going down because I've been hungry for so long. The fact that it took that long for it to start going down is probably only because I was probably really close to 101 when it started, and so it had to kind of go all the way down from almost 101 to 100 and then down from 100 to 99. So I wouldn't recommend staying hungry for that long, but it certainly wasn't worth an extra trip all the way back up to my base just to grab food when it was already this close to nightfall. So I should have plenty of bacon and eggs. Makes me a little thirsty. I'm going to drink something. And I've got a little bit of daylight left, actually. So the one thing, I came back to my base without very many stones. So I'm going to look around. See if maybe, just maybe, there are some resource rocks real close. I'll find a fat zombie. Resource rock. A little bit of clay right here too. This is real close to my house. That's nice. Clay is generally not too hard to find, but it's always nice when it's a short walk. And I'm getting a little more iron too. I should easily be able to make a pickaxe and a barbed club and maybe even a fire axe on top of it. Again, the fire axe, I'm probably not really going to use the fire axe too much until I get some points into Miner 69er. Check can see, oh yeah, so I can make better tools now. So I'm gonna scrap that, make a new one, and that's another activity that I'll be doing this tonight. And I generally won't make any iron tools until I can make at least a level 100, because that's kind of a waste of iron to make anything less than 50. And a little tip is if you have a tool that you're done using, either the durability is all gone on it, or you have the ability to make a higher level one. If you put the whole tool back in the forge, you'll get all of the iron that it took to make it back, smelted back out of it. So that's absolutely what I do, is I just recycle my tools, and you don't lose any iron at all that way. Sorry guys, my phone was going off. Alright, so getting a little close to dark. I don't want to accidentally stay out too late and end up in a fight with a zombie. So I'm going to head back into my house. And that's it for this video. So my intention with the series is hopefully get through the entire first week and maybe show off the 7-day fight, killing those zombies. I gotta tell you guys, it's not as interesting as it sounds for the 7-day fight. It's basically just gonna be me putting arrows into heads all night long. But I've never done a series that long. I've never done a series past the 2nd day, really. So I'm gonna try to do a couple more videos at least on this game. Just kind of show off that first week. So, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and finish out my night here off the video because it's really boring. And we're just going to get a bunch of forged iron cooking. And thanks guys for watching.